Hey guys, this is my podcast for Alicia. Alicia, I hope that's right. But I wanted to do a podcast because Alicia, she keeps sending me funding for my podcasts and other videos and then says I don't have to do them. And that's weird to me because, like, obviously I have to do them. Like, the whole point of the forum and the funding mechanism there is you pay money and then I deliver what you paid for in the area. Like, for instance, if you say fund a podcast, I got to do it. That's the contract. Otherwise, if I don't do the podcast, then I mean, that's a scam and that's a problem. So I have to do the podcast regardless of whether you say, oh, here's the money. You don't have to do it. If you just want to send me money, you can do that. But there's like that ain't the way to do it. Because if you pay for something, I have to come through. If you want to leave $1 million, for me, just randomly in my Cash App or something, you do that. You can do that day and night, all day, because there's no contract. You just gave it to me. Okay, that's one thing. But no, you funded the podcast. You're getting the podcast. So the first issue I want to talk about is me being nice in real life versus how I act in videos. And something I've kind of felt not so great about lately is my performance in my videos. I feel like, and while this may be justified and okay or whatever, based on the circumstances that I've encountered in my life, I don't think it's okay to be hateful all the time. I don't think it's okay to, just be hateful for the sake of being hateful. And that's not saying that's what I've done. But I'm saying if I continued to express anger and hate and so forth, it would be like beating a dead horse. Do you know what I mean? Because I've expressed it, okay? Human beings get upset. They express that they're upset. People who are women typically cry. People who are men typically yell and scream because that's testosterone and estrogen, the products of them. We're all puppets. We can't do anything about it. Humans be human, okay? But I'm kind of exhausted, right? I'm like, I said what I needed to say over and over and over again. I don't feel like saying it more. It's tiring, So if you ever want to know, what did Onichan say that was angry or whatever, just look at my old videos. Okay, I said lots of angry things, and a lot of it was justified. And the reason it was justified is what I explained. Anyone in my shoes would either kill themselves or rant or drop a bunch of evidence to support their position and establish how society's stupid or whatever. I've done a number of things to, establish where I am in the world and what I feel and so forth. I don't need to go in it again unless I'm feeling it. I'm just not vibing right now. It's just not a thing that I want. But there's this guy named Tony V, and he abandoned me. Let's just throw that out there. He abandoned me. And the last thing he said to me was that he loved me. So, okay. And I said I loved him too, and then he abandoned me. By the way, when I say abandoning, I'm not like stating my opinion or anything. I said, I love you too. We disconnected, and he never responded to my text from that point on. Nothing. Like, never heard from him again. Abandonment. That's what that is, okay? Unless, of course, he was abducted by aliens, in which case maybe he didn't. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that before he said he loved me and then dipped forever, he said I was so nice in private, like behind the scenes. Stop fucking texting me, by the way. Someone's texting me right now. Stop it. Do you ever get annoyed by people texting you? Like, you just want to be left alone? I think the person texting me might be the person who paid for this video, but because you get my phone number, one of my phone numbers, if you sign up to onision.forum, you can access it by paying to prove that you're not a weirdo. And I think that person is texting me, ironically, in the middle of this podcast. How fucking cherry, in the words of the deep. Anyway, so Tony said that I was so nice and private. And he wished that how nice I was in private would come through in my videos. And that quote from Tony, the abandoner, it stuck with me because it's like, I'm doing a bad job communicating with you guys what my actual personality is. And I've done this for some time. I've gone back and forth many times where I've been like, this is the real me. And then I'll go back to, fuck all of you. I hate you people. And then I'll go back to, this is the real me, you guys. And it's like, at what point do you say, this guy's fucking mentally ill? He's really mentally ill. This guy needs help. And you know what's funny about saying that people need help? Help often isn't really help at all. Because when you have the entire world of therapy where they don't get points for fixing you, they get points for keeping you broken. Oh shit, did I just say something profound? Therapists don't make more money for fixing you. They make more money for keeping you broken. Fuck, that's a nuclear bomb of a point, is it not? So when you say I need help or something and I'm mentally ill, I know I'm mentally ill. But like, if you say I need help, where? I mean, I guess ChatGPT, maybe, because ChatGPT doesn't really care, I don't think. If you ever get fucking better, it's a robot. So it'll just give you the best advice there is and hopefully you heal from it or whatever. But I know if I'm a therapist and I fix all my patients on their first visit with me, I go bankrupt. Just putting that out there. The most effective therapist in the world, bankrupt, most likely. Unless they live in like a metropolitan area or there's a horrible amount of patients, then maybe not. But yeah. Nice in private, mean in public, hurt people, hurt people. My notes are literally like caveman, just absolutely pathetic. But no, obviously hurt people do hurt people. If you see someone like an actor, you'll see this a lot in actors. I was telling my friend this today. I have a real friend, not imaginary. And no, I didn't just have to say that, even though no one asked to compensate for anything. It is a real friend. Anyway, so when I talk about, hurt people, there are actors out there who are complete losers and they aren't successful, right? And there are actors who are complete winners and they're just very nice to everyone, polite, whatever. The actors who are not successful typically say shit that's just fucking weird and creepy. Like, there's this dude who has been in some movies, but his career has not gone well. He talked about his interactions with Robert De Niro's kids, and he said that the kids wanted a piece of pizza from him and that he refused. And like, he literally said the story was that Robert De Niro's kids approached him and they asked for a piece of pizza. He has the whole fucking pizza in his hands, right? In the box, and they're asking for a slice and he doesn't give it to him. First of all, that's fucked up. Okay. If some kids want some fucking pizza and you know their dad, give them the fucking pizza. It's pizza. It's not like fucking rat poison. It's pizza, dickhead. Anyway, so he gets in the elevator and the kids follow him. And then he goes down to the first floor and he tells them to go back upstairs to where they came from. And he hopes that they find the father, Robert De Niro. First of all, on multiple levels in that story, you're a shitty person. One, you don't give the kids pizza who you know their dad. Like, it's Robert De Niro's kids. If they ask for pizza, you give them fucking pizza. Anyway, secondly, you get in the elevator with these kids, go all the way to the bottom, and without escorting them to their father, you just hope that they wind up with their parent. That's fucking crazy. That's nuts. Why would you do that? This is why you're not a successful actor, because you're fucking weird. Why would you do that? These are children. You need to feed the children and make sure the children get to their parents. It's fucking common sense. Anyway, so that's what I'm talking about. Like, when I see actors who never worked out in the industry, a lot of times it's because they're fucking weirdos like that. And every step of the way, they make bad decisions. Like, there was this one addict who was like on the streets and a drug addict and all these things. And they're like, oh, let's get him back on his feet and blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that guy deserved to be there. He didn't deserve to be there. Nobody deserves that because it's a terrible life, right? But at some point you have to ask yourself, were there any decisions that he made that got him there? Because a lot of times, like with drug addicts, they don't want to get better because drugs are that damn good. You know what I mean? That's why they say don't do drugs. They don't say don't do drugs because it'll fuck up your life. They say don't do drugs because you're going to love them so much. You're going to love those drugs so fucking much that you're not going to care about anything else. Okay, that's why they say don't do drugs. Correct me if I'm wrong. But That's why. So when you say, oh, we got to get this drug addict cleaned up, blah, 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 off the streets and whatever, he wants to. I'm not saying he should stay there. And I'm not saying it's wrong to try and get him help. It is wrong to say, oh, this guy deserves more attention than every other person on the street. This guy, this drug addict deserves more attention because we have some kind of nostalgic connection to them or whatever, you know? And the same applies to like a lot of actors who are down and out, like Andy Dick, okay? If you look up the court records of Andy Dick, and you know the win-loss rate or whatever, the different claims, the different confessions or whatever he's taken part in, you start to see and understand, okay, maybe he's in this situation for a reason. Maybe. Not always. Sometimes people get falsely accused and whatever. But if you continuously go to court over and over again, or you wind up arrested over and over again, or you wind up, you know, addicted to drugs and doing drugs on the street or whatever over and over again, okay, there might be a chance that you like this lifestyle and you want to be there. It's like a personal choice at some point. Same with smoking, same with all these other things, right? It doesn't sweep everybody away. Like you could say that for fat people, right? You could say, oh, they're fat because they're addicted, right? But when I was getting fat, I literally went cold turkey after 5 o'clock. I was like, you know what? No more eating food after 5 o'clock. And I lost 20 pounds just like that, okay? Different people have different willpower. Different people have different characteristics. Different people have different chemistry in their brain. All these things impact whether or not you can successfully quit drugs or quit food or quit whatever is disproportionate or inappropriate. You shouldn't quit food ever altogether because that's your lifeblood, right? You don't want to wind up like Eugene Cooney. But the point is that, yes, there are a ton of variables, right? But I am saying that there is a human element in there to which a person is responsible for their own decisions, okay? And I'm not saying we shouldn't help people. I am, however, saying that there are many actors who aren't successful. There are many people in business who aren't successful. There are many people all over the world who aren't successful. And part of it might have something to do with their toxic personality. I myself have often had a toxic personality. I butt heads with so many YouTubers because I hide under the guise of honesty, right? Or the reality. I don't know if it's a guise. I hide under the actual literality of honesty. So I'm saying, hey, I'm calling it like it is. Fuck you. But the problem with that attitude is that it often winds you up very alone on a sad little island by yourself. Okay. That's not to say I'm alone. I have a life partner who I've shared over 14 years with, right? Amazing life partner. And so I'm not alone. Obviously, someone can put up with me. But it doesn't get you a lot of friends being this quote unquote super honest person. Okay. And that's something that I wanted to talk about. Okay. Just because, like, in my last video, I've been very negative. The one before that, I was very negative. The one before that, I was very negative. And it's important at some point to be like, okay, we can be honest, but we can also not be a fucking dick for no reason. You know what I mean? Anyway, there's something that I was thinking about called the I can still philosophy. Do you know what the I can still philosophy? It's like if someone cuts off your legs, well, you're like, I can still crawl. You know, if someone cuts off your arms, I can still wiggle. Someone cuts off your head, you can't do shit. You're fucking dead, bro. But the point is that life, a lot of disappointment that we have, and I have a lot of disappointment myself, but a lot of disappointment we have in life is because we think in terms of, I just want this, or I just want that, or this is the standard. This is the thing that's going to make me not feel so fucking suicidal. You know what I mean? We look at the world in terms of that because we hold ourselves to a certain level. I was having a conversation with my spouse, who's awesome. Suck that dick some more. I'm talking about me sucking his dick, by the way. But I was having this conversation and I was talking about, like, I asked, would you rather replace your situation, like, you can be the same person, replace your situation with Donald Trump's? Would you rather place your situation with Pete Hegseth? Would you rather place your situation with Kristi Noem? Would you rather place your situation with, whoever else, right? And the answer is always no. And that's some perspective, isn't it? I want you guys to to the two people listening to this, Casey and Alicia, the two of you listening to this, and everybody else probably isn't listening because I'm irrelevant, loser, whatever you want to say. So to you guys, I want you to do this exercise. I want you to think of some extremely rich, successful people who have problems, right? And ask yourself if you'd rather be in their situation. The answer is probably no. So think of it this way. Your life fucking sucks. We'll just say hypothetically. Or maybe it's good. Whatever. There are billionaires who you would not trade places with. Would you rather be Elon Musk right now? Let's be real. Would you rather be Joe Rogan? Like, literally at Joe Rogan's age, with his podcast and all that, would you rather be Joe Rogan? Would you rather be Elon Musk? Both these guys are older, right? And both of them have problems. Would you rather than have your problems adopt theirs? You could be the same person, like have your same physical appearance and all that, but you get their age and all the problems that come with them. You get their money and fame. Would you switch places with them? For those of you who are saying yes, good for you. Enjoy that. But I think that a lot of you are probably saying no. And part of the reason why you're saying no is one, you didn't earn it. Two, you don't want the result of their dumbass decisions, right? They've made numerous dumb decisions. Like, do you really want 20 billion kids, half of which who don't really like you very much? Like maybe Elon. I don't know. I don't know if that's Elon's situation, but I wouldn't want to be a father if it meant I was adversarial with my own offspring, because that's a terrible thing. I would want to remedy that right away, make it better. Okay. But also, the most expensive resource in the world is time. So if you switch bodies with Elon, or you switch bodies with Turbo Jet 5000, Joe Rogan, or whatever, you're losing a lot of time. Like, what is being a billionaire worth if you only get 5 years left on this earth, or however much time each individual has? What is that time worth if you're facing literally half the world hating you, or you're facing being a person who has done some terrible things verifiably, So that's some perspective. But as far as the I can still, it's like, run through if you're very sad, and I'm sad a lot. I try to just chug a Fireball, gulp, when I'm not like chug it. Sorry, I try to get a good gulp of a Fireball whenever I'm feeling super down, and it kind of sets my chest on fire and helps distract me from the emotional pain. But other times it might be helpful to run the exercise of I can still. So let's say somebody steals your car. You can still walk. You can still order an Uber. You can still get a bike and ride it. You can still maybe potentially afford a payment plan for another car. You can still do this, this, and this. You can still, right? Let's say you lose your grandma. You can still write letters to your grandma as if they're still there. You could just like write a journal to your grandma, talk about them in your head or whatever. You can still talk to them, even though some people might believe they're not there. You can talk to yourself. You could pray to them, whatever you want, whatever helps you emotionally. You can still look at photos of them. You can still watch videos of them. You can still talk to the people that person created, make bonding connections and so forth. You can still do a lot. This is maybe a coping mechanism or something designed to make you feel better about the horrible situation, but the alternative is just feeling horrible with no even attempt to feel better. So the I can still, let's talk about a homeless guy who's begging for money on the side of the street, right? He can still hold up that sign. He can still ask for money. Someone holds out money for him. He can go buy crack now, because that's a lot of times what supposedly homeless people do. I'm telling you, drugs are magnificent for certain people, right? They just love them so much they would rather smoke crack than eat a burger. Like if I'm begging for money on the side of the street, I'm trying to get a new pair of shoes or some shit, but they're out there, let's get some fucking, heroin or whatever. And that's sad, but that's how great those drugs are to those people, which is why you never even want to taste it, because you'll probably never want anything else ever again, just that. You'll be hunched over on the side of the street, not even caring that you're hunched over on the side of the street, because that's how fucking great the drugs are to those people, allegedly. I don't know for sure. I've never really done any actual drugs, other than I think I did CBD and didn't like it I tried that to treat my depression with that. Anyway, letting go of bad lighting. That's another thing. I saw a YouTube or a TikTok video where this guy was sitting in a room and he's like, look at how good my lighting is. Like, don't you guys admire the way I look? It's high quality, because he turned it down. He turned down the image quality, or not the image quality, but the actual lighting. So the guy himself looked kind of like shit, right? You could see all the wrinkles in his face, and you could see basically, not the photo studio version of him, but more like just this regular guy standing in front of you at a Wendy's. Like, and he's like, look how good my video quality is. And his video quality was great, but he looked like shit. Anyway, the reason I point that out is because I'm like thinking, I'm 40. Why am I still trying to overexpose my videos? Like back in the day, I used to overexpose my videos like crazy to hide the wrinkles and to add blurs and so forth, to give people the illusion that I had some kind of fucking Pixar face where I was, super likable and cute and whatever, I'm not. I'm just me, and I'm just like you. We're all getting wrinkly and ugly and gross, and that's just the way it is. So my question was, why even do that? And so in the future videos on this channel, if there are any, assuming future ones get funded, you're probably going to see more realistic colors. I might look a lot uglier than I normally look because I'm probably going to start being like, you know what, this is who I am, and it's going to hurt me, but I'm not doing well anyway. So I may as well be real when you got nothing to lose. So you may see a lighting adjustment in future videos is my point. Now, when you die and the logic on death, interesting, the topics and the lack of segues, right? We're all over the place. It's like ADHD. So I hope this video is good for you if you have ADHD. But when you die, I used to think, and I used to say, and I still believe in a way, that your people fucking go to your funeral and they cry for you a minute and then they move on, right? They have this like nihilistic view on some TikTok videos where they're like, you know, your whole life up to this point, you know, what was it if people just like go and they shed a few tears and then they are over it after like fucking the meal that they have right after the funeral, and then they're just fucking off and playing around and barely ever mention you ever again. And the top comment for that video was talking about how the hole that people who die leave inside you, it lasts forever. And I was like, you know, and that it just took that one comment, you know, and I was just like, yeah, that's totally fucking true. We're immortal, guys. And like, that's the reason I haven't fucking killed myself. Right? Like, the reason I haven't killed myself is for that reason, is because you create this hole in people, whether they're close to you or far away. Like Basherverse died because of, he's fucking dumb. Like he supposedly was saying, you know, you shouldn't get a COVID vaccine. And then he didn't get a COVID vaccine, and they fucking died right after pleading to his audience to get vaccinated and to fucking wear masks or whatever. You know, you got to fact check me on that. I'm not sure, but that's generally the sequence of events as I understand it. You know, Basherverse dies. I feel a hole. I didn't even know the guy, but it feels terrible. Christina Grimmie, I feel a hole. It's very sad. The fucking 30 toddlers that were drowned at the same time that Christina Grimmie died, who everyone ignored, those little kids that were drowned, the refugees, look it up. Those kids, they leave a hole. Death in general leaves a fucking hole. Like, it's sad. No matter who dies, it's sad. You don't want it. That's why we have life in prison instead of just fucking executions for everyone. Because it's fucking sad to kill people. It's sad that people die. It's a terrible thing. So when you talk about, hey, oh, your life didn't matter because, you know, they have a funeral for you, they eat and they move on. They don't fucking move on. It hurts forever. That's what being human means. It means when someone dies, it hurts forever. You never get better. You never recover. Loss is loss until you fucking die, and then other people feel a loss for you. It's a terrible thing. So that's an important point to make, and one that I don't distinctly make in many of my videos. Like, we all matter because it fucking hurts. Pain matters, suffering matters, love matters. You know, these things all matter. Like, you might sit here and go, well, what the fuck is matter? What is matter at all? What does it mean to matter? Matter is literally, does it have an impact on other things? It's that simple. Does it have an impact on other things? Does it have some kind of event in the universe, right? Is there a chain reaction, essentially? If something is an isolated incident that only infects the things within the immediate vicinity, probably doesn't matter that much because nothing was really impacted. You know, there was no chain. But when you die, other people hurt, and maybe they share that hurt, maybe they kill themselves, whatever. You don't know. Everything matters. Anyway, why do people abandon their offspring and pregnant moms? This is something that has bewildered me, and it's what I want to end this video on. A lot of people out there, for some reason, they get women pregnant and then they fuck off, and I don't understand that. When I was 14, I thought I got my girlfriend pregnant. You know what I did? I didn't talk about getting an abortion. I didn't talk about like leaving. I said, okay, I'm ready to raise this kid. At 14, I was 14 years old and I was ready to raise a kid with my girlfriend who was about my age. So how the fuck do you have like 40-year-old men out there getting people pregnant and being like, they're not going to stand by you? The fuck is that? You stuck your dick in her. You came. That was the contract, fuckface. Sorry, I'm being negative. I'm being negative. It's just that anger in me, you know? But you shouldn't be able to fuck women if you're not willing to raise their baby. Quote me on that. You shouldn't be able to fuck women if you can't raise a kid. I don't give a shit if someone's on birth control or you're wearing a condom. You should be banned from sex if you cannot raise a kid. That's it. Because we have too many fucking people who are impregnating women and then abandoning those women and then shaming those women if they get an abortion. That's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy to shame someone, a woman, for not being willing to raise a kid when the dads get off scot-free. You know, and then you have these women who they're too kind and they're too considerate and empathetic to actually pursue the dads for what they're entitled. That's crazy to me. He's going to fucking abandon you and your child and you're still giving him the benefit of the doubt? Fuck that guy. Make him pay for his own kids. It's fucking crazy. But that's the world we live in, where guys put their dick in women, and then the women wind up being such amazing people that they're willing to actually go through with having that child. It takes a lot to have a fucking child. It destroys your body. Like 1 out of what? Every 2 times? Destruction. Some people go through it and their body looks fantastic after. They look great. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people get destroyed by having a baby. They throw their fucking physical future away. Brave ass, heroic motherfucking women. And these dumb fucking dudes who are moving on to the next chick to impregnate her and abandon her. Should be a fucking crime. It should be a fucking crime to impregnate a woman and not stick by them. When you come in a woman, that's a commitment. Period. No cap. Anyway, thank you to Alicia for funding this video. If you guys want to fund a video, go to onision.forum. I feel like crying a little bit. That was a bit rough. Also, sorry, I'm so ugly. Boob squeeze. Bye.